Okay. Welcome back to Good Time with the Boys. You have Germund, aka Boy 1.
And this is Boy 2, aka Kangsan.
Kangsan, aka Kevin, if you see him at the Starbucks.
Yeah. Tried a lot of different names, it was a social experiment in college. And, turns out a Korean man who says his name is Dante doesn't quite
doesn't quite.
It doesn't quite ring the bell.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of just saying Kong? Hi, our name for the order? Kong.
I've thought about it, but for whatever reason, like by instinct, the first thing I ever said to somebody, I panicked and I said Kevin. It was just the first thing. And
okay. Well, you could actually pass for a Kevin.
That's the thing. I do look like a Kevin, and when I was a kid, I didn't like my name. And so when I was around 7, my dad said that if I wanted to give myself an American name, I can do that, and we'll go to the court and get the name changed.
Wow.
Yeah. So being the 7-year-old kid that I am, and I thought of the name Kevin. I wanted to be known as Kevin. Looking back at it, hindsight
could have been worse.
Hindsight being 2020. I'm very glad that I didn't, because I'm Kangsan, Kim. My initials are K and K.
It would have been K and K also if you were Kevin. Just let you know.
Yeah, but it's not like I would have removed Kangsan. It would have been my middle name. So I'm in a way I'm glad that it never happened. I don't think a 7-year-old has any foresight into those sorts of things. So
nor does any 7-year-old want to have the initials KKK.
I don't think regardless of whether or not you're 7, I don't think anyone
would want
those initials. I mean, I'm sure there's like one person that wouldn't mind.
I'm sure there's a population of people that would not mind.
I'm just saying I'm not part of that group.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good. This was an interesting week.
A lot happened.
Interesting is an
That's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot went down. I mean, I don't even know where to start.
Well, so the last time we talked a little bit about Kanye.
Yes.
And it's only befitting that we, I guess, continue it on, not because we have to, because we just have so much substance from what happened this week.
There's a lot to unpack there. A lot.
And you could take it for whatever you want it to mean. I personally think he's a little off, maybe a little crazy, but I also do think this is a publicity stunt, a big publicity stunt. We did mention before that he is dropping 4 albums in next month, and then in June a couple more. So this could, he's kind of been out of the limelight aside from his shoes or making random appearances here and there. But he's in the grand scheme of things, he's kind of laid low. He had 3 kids, and so I'm sure he thinks that he's not in the limelight as he once was when he was showing up on Oprah and he was showing up on these TV shows and yada yada yada. So what better way to restate your claim than saying, "What's up, guys? I love Donald Trump."
I don't agree with the way he's going about the things that I don't agree with the way he's doing things, but I will agree with your point that it is a way to generate buzz. I think it's not necessarily a red or blue matter, but I think this is a green matter. I think he's looking after his money, and he's trying to find a way to generate some hype. I don't think this is the way that you should go about it, but to each their own. He's trying to so the message I'm getting from him and his tweets or whatever is just the idea that he's trying to say we are all looking at these people who are pro and support in support of Donald Trump and automatically either shaming them or getting mad at them or attacking them. And he's saying that somebody like himself, who's before all of this generally regarded as somebody who's liked, and he comes out and provides that shock value that he's for Donald Trump, and he's saying that we all don't have to follow the same ideas and we can all be different.
Mm-hmm.
If he came out and just said that, I think people would understand, but I think but that's just not who he is. His personality is to provide that shock value,
Right.
He's a provocateur. He's a guy who just wants to kind of stun you and surround you with all his ideas.
Stun he did, not me, just because, I get it. But also, I've for the last several years, not several years, but for the last couple of years now, a lot of things have happened, negative and positive, depending on how you perceive what's happened throughout our history in the last couple of years. But I've always been saying, if there was a prominent person, a prominent African American or a prominent black person who, and the Black Lives Matter thing and all that stuff, yeah, I get it. But how about if there's just one person in that type of role, or in that, or people who hold to that high regard, just say something along the lines of, hey guys, I understand everything's messed up right now, but how about we hold ourselves to some type of accountability? You know what I mean? Like, how about, yeah, a lot of bad things happen. However, there are also other people who aren't doing anything to make our name any better, or, who are making it worse. And so that's why when Kanye did it, I was like, oh, maybe this is, this is kind of what I was seeing. And then when I saw Chance do that, well, not directly, but when Chance tweeted out,
black people don't have to be Democrats.
Yeah. Black people don't have to be Democrats, because you're black, you don't have to be a Democrat. I think that was huge. And he did it smart, not saying what I'm saying, like, hey man, you know what? Maybe you should stop pointing the finger at cops or the white man or whatever, and start pointing at yourself. But basically, subtly, kind of did that a little bit. And I think that was a big move. I think that's a huge move, and that's what I've been talking about for the last couple of years. Just, hey man, you know what? I get it. A lot of bad things happen, but there's also another perception, another side to that story as well that is not really highlighted in the popular media, and we just kind of just like look over it a little bit. I think this is the beginning of something better. I think for why Kanye is doing what he's doing, but at least for the Chance thing, I think that's a big deal.
Well, Chance, he later came out with an apology. I thought that people overreacted to what Chance was tweeting. I mean, and
that's the problem. Right?
But then I also disagree with what you're saying. Is like him saying, either of them saying whatever it is that they said. I don't think that is necessarily, hey, stop pointing the finger at everybody else and point the finger at yourself. I think Kanye is just challenging the current state of mind in a very provocative manner, and I think Chance is just saying, hey man, if that's what he thinks, that's what he thinks, sort of thing. I think that there's nothing beyond that. I think the reason why I disagree with what Kanye's doing, and I don't like it, is to me, the message I'm getting from him is he's saying, hey, everybody, look at the world through my eyes. Look at it the way I'm trying to look at it. Everybody try to see through my lens. And he's asking for that empathy. He's asking for people to understand where he's coming from and to live the world or see the world the way he wants it to be seen. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the issue I have with that is to me, that's a rather selfish move. He's asking everybody to help him by looking at it through his eyes. He's not trying to understand how other people feel. He's not trying to look through everybody else's lens first and saying, okay, these are all the different takes in life. These are all the different experiences in life. And these are all the different viewpoints in life. Because by saying that he likes Trump and he wants to wear his hat and he believes in all those things. God damn it.
That is so loud.
Oh, man. Anyway, I think by him trying to say those things, to me, it's one, like, I don't think the issue is with him supporting a Republican. I don't think the issue is being a Republican. I think the issue is being in support of a man whom in any other realm, and if he had any other title, wouldn't be receiving the type of love that he is, wouldn't be receiving the type of I don't know what else to say. Like
I think he has. I mean, even if you want to talk about some failed businesses that he's had that not a lot of people talk about, or I think obviously not just because he's in the limelight, we don't see. I'm sure he was adored before. When he was a businessman and people praise his business practices, but it was just not seen by the masses just because of he wasn't in the position that he was right now.
But would you like, let's say that type of personality was your boss at work? Every day you had to deal with somebody.
Trump or Kanye?
Trump. Mm-hmm. Let's say that
God, I would love if Kanye was my boss.
I know. Let's say his maybe not him specifically, but his personality, mm-hmm. his demeanor, his words, the way he carries himself was your boss at work. Do you think that he would be lauded or praised in the same manner that Trump is now?
Comparing him to what he was before to now?
No,
or comparing
him now.
Him now.
Yeah, all this support that he's getting, all this love and affection that he's getting.
Yeah. I'd like it. Well, look,
not just you. I'm talking about as a whole, as a company.
Exactly.
Do you think somebody with his personality type would be?
No, of course not.
Okay.
People have there's levels to softness or. Well,
okay. That's my point exactly. Is that any other circumstance, he wouldn't be in a position of this type of adoration or praise. And yet here we are, and yet these people support him. And the issue is now, I don't think the issue is with his political party. I think it's just the issue is just we're letting somebody like him do the things that he does and says the things that he says and represent a position in the most powerful country in the world. Like that's the issue that I have with what Kanye is doing with Trump. If Kanye just came out and said what you said, what you explained and said, hey, listen, look, it's time to put the power back in our own hands. If we want to get out of this hole, instead of looking around and waiting for people to help us, we have to help ourselves before we can help each other. We have to be able to understand that regardless of whether or not it was our fault to be in the situations that we are, it is our responsibility to do something about it. Mm-hmm. If he came out and said that,
well, Kanye ain't gonna say that.
Well, I understand, but I'm saying
it'd be nice.
I'm saying if that was the sentiment of his message, that would be one thing,
right?
But he's just, his message is being lost in translation by a lot of people because his actions,
right? And then the method in which he's doing it,
and so people just see the first layer, and in his tracks and his music, he's asking you to read the fine print. That's not like let's just say it what it is. That's not the world that we live in right now.
Yeah.
The world that we live in right now is very reactionary, is very whatever comes first. You read the headlines, clickbait, all these types of things that want to garner your attention immediately. And then you lose that attention because you're looking for something else. That's the world we live in. And he's asking people to look at him rather than trying to understand what people are going through. He's saying he understands because he has been through these things in life. And yes, his experiences are his own, and I'm sure he's been through a lot of tough shit. Regardless, at the moment, he's only tweeting about this stuff. He's only talking about it right around the time he drops his music. So, by and large, I do not agree with what he's doing. I don't like what he's doing. I don't like Trump. I mean, I don't like that anything that side, what that side represents at all. I don't have a problem with whether or not you're Republican or Democrat. Political party aside, it's the ideals and it's the mannerisms and it's the behavior and it's the everything else,
the principle in which you conduct yourself.
That the people that are currently representing the party, that's what's plain. That's what's getting to me. Now, with that being said, I think people have a right to react the way that they need to react.
Right. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And
my reaction is, look, if you got to go to Kanye for your political views, like, pick up a book or something. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And that's the sad thing, because a lot of people do go through that.
Yeah.
A lot of people do use celebrities and hang on to them and say, oh, man, that's what you think. Again, maybe right or wrong, but the way they say it, it's obviously it's like the Antichrist, or Donald Trump is the Antichrist, or the Republicans are the Antichrist. But that's why a lot of people love hanging on to celebrities, and whatever they say, when they say jump, they say how high, and they're gonna ride the coattails. But everyone's entitled, obviously, to their own opinion. It just it's unfortunate that sometimes the people that or the celebrities that people follow, don't align with everybody else. You know what I mean? And obviously this ain't some utopia type of world that we live in, but I just like to base everything off of facts. Just if there's nothing left that we have in this world, it's stuff that we are certain of already, and then we should just go off of that. And as far as how you're perceived to somebody, there is a way to be liked without trying, and that's just, again, having good morals, having good principles, and just conducting yourself like regular human. Like, politics aside, if someone was talking shit about somebody else, or just saying vulgar things to somebody, ultimately we would peg that person as a bad person. And then that's what Donald Trump has done. He's whether you believe his politics are going to help eventually, or whoever it's going to help, but ultimately, if he was half a better person, we might be able to get somewhere. But just because of the way he talks, and he shoots himself in the foot so many times, it's it's hard to defend him on that end. It's pretty bad, but
yeah, I mean, it's very difficult. But I think Jay-Z said in an interview, what Donald Trump is doing now is he's forcing everybody to be out in the open and just sort of be more vulnerable and talk about it. Because it's causing so much, hope I'm using the word right, it's causing so much fervor. I took the SAT. Didn't do well, but it doesn't matter.
Neither did I.
It's causing a lot of emotion in people. It's striking emotion, and it's sort of, I guess they're coining it as like identity politics or something, where like now instead of politics being like, oh, hey, you think this, I think that, it's when we talk, it's kind of coming at you in a way that's attacking you
Right.
as at your very core, sort of seeming like if we were debating under this example, it would seem like I'm attacking you for who you are as a person.
Right.
Which
right.
causes that defense mechanism to go and be like, hold on, like that doesn't define who I am, right? So when me and you talk and we have differences, we're able to separate the individual from the belief because we always start with a baseline. We always start with, okay, look, the end goal of a certain topic is this. And we go, okay, we agree. Now, how do we get there? How we get there is where we differ. It isn't necessarily the end goal, right?
Right.
The end goal, I think, and I want to say at least the majority of humanity, if not all of humanity, is to move forward, is to be better, is to continue to strive and improve and keep innovating ourselves. I think that is, a good baseline to establish. How we get there, there's a million different ways to get there on a million different topics. And I think that's where, there's that type of discussion. But I think it's very healthy to have a civil discourse where you and I can talk and we can disagree.
Right.
And we can explain where we come from because you and I have different experiences. And if we can get to an agreement, great. If we can't, great. But it opens our eyes up to understand that there's these other roads and these other experiences that exist in life. And that's, the less we talk about it, the more we only surround ourselves by like-minded folks in this regard.
Right.
We are going to be more and more unaware of what happens. It's one thing to implicitly be aware and understand that there are other avenues in life. It's another thing to have somebody share that with you. Right? I can sit here and say like, hey, look, this is just my way of doing things. I understand that there's other ways, this, then the third. Great. I'm technically aware of the other things. But if I sit here and have you tell me about those experiences, it's a different, to me, it feels like, and again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not smart, but to me, it feels like...
But we did go to CAMS.
Yes. California Academy of Math and Science. Not to be confused
Shout out with CAMS.
With CAMS.com. Do not go to...
future CAMS kids.
Don't go to CAMS.com.
Prospective CAMS kids, when you want to be smart and check out your high school, your future high school, don't go to CAMS.com.
No.
Kangsan and I have made that mistake, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've made that mistake multiple times for other reasons, but don't do that.
Yeah.
But you're not a scientist, right?
Anyway, I feel like it triggers a different part of your memory because somebody else is saying it. They're essentially willing to be vulnerable and open up and share an experience with you that you're not going to get in your life. And if you want to live a million lives, you want to try to explore the world, part of that is by talking to other people
Right.
that think different than you, people that look different than you, people that act different than you. And that's a way that you can become more empathetic.
And that's what I've been trying to do also is I have a high tolerance for a lot of things, pain or time or what have you. But, it's very easy when you're conversing with somebody and regardless if even if you're talking or even agreeing about a similar topic where it's so easy to just say, mentally turn yourself off, right? Obviously, physically you're still there and you're nodding your head and you're saying, "Oh yeah, I understand," but mentally you've already checked out. But it's just everything that we have now that we've experienced and we have yet to experience is just everything is just extremely valuable. Like everything from this table to this mic to this napkin, everything is valuable, which means everything has meaning. A lot of things everything has purpose. So I've been trying to get better at when I am talking to somebody and I'm in a disagreement, or even if I know that person's wrong, totally wrong, that, at least for one, I'm not being a dick, and I'm letting them explain themselves, and just because, if not, then, just boils up, or what have you. But, at least I can still respond with the right answer, or respond with my own answer, and then, I would hope that that person would do the same thing, at least, and just, tolerate it, bear with it, but, still be listening and be cognizant that there's another human being in front of you talking to you.
Yeah, I agree. I think differences aside, it's very important to be empathetic. And in a lot of cases, like you're saying, just be the bigger person. And if somebody's attacking you and you attack right back in a similar manner, in my opinion, you've become the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes nowhere when you're the same people. We can progress when we look at it different ways. And a lot of times in discussion, you'll notice if somebody raises their volume and you raise your volume, it's just going to get louder. It's just a freaking dick swinging contest at that point. So who got the bigger dick and just being louder. But if somebody's yelling at you and you're maintaining a calm demeanor, oftentimes you'll find that that person eventually calms down and goes down to your level.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's hard to do when you're drinking.
It is hard to do when you're drinking.
Oh.
But at the same time, you have to understand, like, a lot of people, they've been through a lot, and a lot of people's differences, or definitions of pain is so different. You know, some people have gone through actual physical pain. Some people have gone through emotional pain. Some people can remember these random events throughout life and hold on to those moments, and it builds a lot up inside. And the more hurt you are, the more difficult it becomes to be vulnerable. And you want to create an environment that people can feel comfortable at being themselves and showing you that, hey, it's okay to be you. There's going to be times you slip and fall. There's going to be times you fuck up. And there's going to be times you're going to be right. There's going to be times where you're going to be the best. Sometimes you're going to be good. Sometimes you're going to suck. It doesn't matter. Everyone goes through the same shit. So, just be you. Unfortunately, the world today is so quick to point the finger and expose people that it's becoming more and more difficult to do that. Unfortunately,
well, it's difficult to do that because it almost seems like not whatever, but a lot of things that someone might do, someone else might get offended by it. And I don't remember the last time everyone just got so offended by everything.
I think people have naturally always been offended a lot in these instances. It's just now people are more vocal about it, in the sense that maybe they don't speak up, but then they're going to talk about it on Facebook, or they're going to tweet about it or whatever. Like, there's a lot of different ways people get offended
I
now.
think because it's someone opened the door to something and that caught a little bit of fire, and now everyone is just, oh, there is a platform that made me feel, or people feel like this also, and they're already on a platform where I can jump on top of and ride this wave, and it's just over and over and over again, to the point where it's now it's huge now. No matter what facet of media you're looking at, Facebook, Instagram, what have you, it's everything is everywhere. And what I do like is, for people who do feel like that, at least they feel like they're part of something, at least, right? For the right or wrong reasons, but at least, and it's big on like mental health and stuff. You're not balling it in. You don't know who to talk to. You're not cutting yourself or anything like that. But, this is the modern day writing in your diary kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the modern day diary is just out in the open, where, you actually have to get some, there's a sense of legality with it now. You know what I mean? People are pressing charges, and now it's kind of like gone a little bit too far. But, at least, again, people have different tolerances. If we want to stay on that, people have different tolerances. There's levels to the softness or the hardness of people's psyche. But, at least they're being heard. Whether I agree with it or not, at least they're being heard.
Yeah. I mean, we went from writing in journals and diaries that we keep in our sock drawer to the electronic equivalent of like riding on the side of a bus or something. Like it, literally anybody can see it at any time, which is interesting. Yeah, I mean, the world is an interesting place. I think rather than resisting, I mean, the internet isn't necessarily creating these monsters, it's just exposing people more. We are who we are, and the internet is just helping us be louder versions of ourselves. That's all it is. And so people can choose, you know, what we want to do. Do you want to make it a positive experience? Do you want to make it a negative experience? Do you want to point the finger? Or do you want to do this or do that? The choice is yours. You can choose to decide, or you can choose to do whatever it is you want to do with that type of power.
And a lot of things are changing. You know, it's not as clear cut as it used to be before, where it's when it was more dog eat dog and everyone trying to get mine kind of thing. Where you know, even when I was younger and obviously wasn't as experienced as I am now, I could sense a difference between today and before, where for some reason things felt a little bit easier.
I think that's just because we're getting older.
That's true. Maybe
I think it's just being an adult, man.
You're right.
You know,
I'm just smarter now. That's why.
There's a comedian. While we're on the topic, there's a comedian, Kamau Bell. He was on the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne asked him, because Kamau has this show on CNN called United Shades of America, where he goes into the deep dive of racial tension in America. And so they're talking about Kanye, and Charlemagne asked Kamau, like, hey, despite what Kanye says, like, are you going to listen to his music? And Kamau's like, listen, it has to be like the most fire, the banging, it has to be the best music that he's ever written in his life. I'll listen to it. He's just like, yo, like he's got to do a lot to get to make up for his antics. And
well, Kamau Bell, I hope you're ready for that, because it's going to be like that. So, you know, don't shoot yourself in the foot with that. It's going to be fire.
But yeah, you know, it's
where's Breakfast Club?
New York.
Is it New York?
Yeah.
And Sway also?
I don't know. I ain't got the answers.
Oh, how appropriate. That is.
You know, honestly, I wasn't
even
thinking about tying it all together with the whole Kanye thing, but it turned out to be okay.
No, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
But aside from that, man, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. From just this week, we had the continuation of the NBA playoffs. We had the draft a couple of days ago. Like this is, you know, one of the weeks of all weeks in sports, you know. But a lot of things happened.
Yeah, we're entering one of the best times of the year, and especially this year, because in June, by the time it's June, we'll have, you know, baseball, whatever.
Meh.
You know, it's still really. I mean, they play like 161 games. It's really hard.
That's the thing I can't fathom. Just what, is it 182?
No, it's 162 games. It's, you know.
Well, look, I tell you what. When you're doing a lot of standing around, picking your balls and chewing gum, you know, your body doesn't take a lot of toll.
I love baseball. Don't get me wrong.
This is boy two saying he loves baseball. Boy one is whatever about it.
But I just, you know, anyway, there's baseball.
Yeah.
June's going to be the NBA playoffs or NBA finals at that point, which would be nice.
Yes.
And this year we get the World Cup. So
yeah,
this time of year, summertime, is a great time of the year. But yeah, I mean, let's get back to the playoffs. This week, a couple teams got eliminated.
A couple surprises. Well, depending on who you are, but
it was a surprise.
Yeah, right. there were some surprises.
Yeah, so most notably is the Thunder.
Yeah,
that beginning of the year, you saw Hoodie Mello doing all these workouts. Russell Westbrook looking like Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George seemingly being given away. We didn't know that Victor Oladipo was going to be Victor Oladipo today.
Yeah.
And so we saw this Thunder team sort of line up, and then we have the center that no one ever talks about, Steven Adams. So that four was supposed to contend, or at least make it to the second round. But
I mean, if you have Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook on the same team, whoever else you have, and you have Steven Adams at center, I'll give him that, and whoever else you have along on that team, you would think that, you wouldn't be dumb to put all your money on that.
yeah.
That's a hell of a team, right?
And they're going against a team that lost Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward, yeah.
Their star player.
Their best player is a rookie.
Signed Ricky Rubio. And then
Ricky
drafted
balling out.
a rookie named Donovan Mitchell. And
That kid can play, dude.
God damn.
He's so good.
Oh my God. I'm at a loss for words. There's just so many things that he does well.
Yeah, and he's not a big guy. He's not the fastest guy, but I haven't watched enough of his footage to even call him, what he is. But he's just good. He's elusive. He's at the end of the day, he puts up 22, 9, and 6, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah, and Rubio, decided to grow a man bun, and all of a sudden he can shoot threes.
Yo, those locks. Whoa.
He goes to Utah and ends up looking like a Fabio.
It's a little cold, so he wanted to grow out the hair a little bit.
I guess.
Make it a little bit warm.
Where does Oklahoma City go from here?
Does Paul George?
He's coming to LA. He's coming to the Lakers.
Okay, so what's the whole deal with all that? So obviously, I kind of
He's an unrestricted free agent.
Unrestricted. So when he went to OKC, it was a 1-year deal.
He was on the last year of his deal. So the reason why the whole trade talks when he was in Indiana last year was that he's on the last year of his contract. So that's leverage against him because other teams are going to say, hey, this guy can potentially play for us for 1 year. It's a 1-year rental.
Nice.
Ideally, right?
Or
so essentially.
He was a lease.
Yeah, so you're saying you're telling Indiana, you're asking me to give up these players for a guy who we're only going to have for 1 year. The guys we give you could potentially be there for many years to come. See Oladipo. And so Oklahoma City bet on it, traded, and now he's an unrestricted free agent. I think that, I was listening to ESPN last night after they got eliminated, and Paul George went 2 for 16. And so that's like an argument that could be made to him staying, is like, listen, you didn't do that well. Imagine if you did well, how much further we'd be along, kind of thing.
Well, Melo didn't do all that outstanding either, right?
Melo didn't do well either. He was, they were kind of playing him to be Olympic Melo, open threes, ball movement. He'll be in the corner, shoot.
It's that hood. He didn't have that hood. That's
Yeah, just good. And he just couldn't hit those shots, and he was out for large stretches of the fourth quarter. And I think today he was asked about his role, and he described the season as, I think it was interesting or weird. Is the word he used. But
basically, he said, "Yo, this shit sucked, man. We got eliminated in the first round by Utah, dude."
But he has a player option, so he can opt in for another year. The option is for $28 million. So I'm pretty sure he's going to say yes to that. So we can count on him being back.
Well, it's hard to put the blame on Paul George. Well, actually, it's not that hard. But as far as scoring, that 2 for 16, that number specifically sucks. But it almost is like, because if you're going to allow Russell Westbrook to continue to be Russell Westbrook, he's going to continue to put up 30 shots a game, or whatever.
He shot 46 times, I think, yesterday. Let me double check.
Like that's fine, right? That's fine. But what that means is, if you want Paul George and Carmelo Anthony to if you want Paul George and Carmelo Anthony to play well, also, there's not enough time for them to be putting up the same amount of shots. So that means that in order for them to be good, whatever shots they do have, they got to make a high percentage of them. And so, I mean, it wouldn't be too bad to hold those two players accountable just because they're the two greatest players of our, modern day in basketball. But you have to do that consistently, and most importantly, you got to do that in the playoffs. And what happened? It didn't happen in the playoffs. So Russell Westbrook is going to put up these numbers or these shots, and Carmelo and Paul George get less shots, and they don't even make the shots that they take. So you can't really blame them, but you kind of can a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? I'm still on the Russell Westbrook train.
Oh yeah,
I'm that guy. Oh my god.
Go ahead, take 50 shots. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's totally fine.
See, okay, so here's the thing. I don't know how many shots he took. I can't confirm. I'm going to say it's 46 because no one's going to doubt me on that.
Yeah.
Westbrook is the type of player who commands so much attention, and he's so athletic that he just needs to have.
Russell Westbrook had 43 attempted field goals.
I was actually close.
That was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
He's a player that he's just an uber athlete, and he can get to the rim at will, and you just need to set one good pick and have him going downhill, and he's virtually unstoppable.
Would you say easily the most explosive player?
One of the quickest first steps for sure in the league.
Okay.
Explosive, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't picture him literally, if he was on a fast break, he's one of the few players that I would stand up and be like, something's gonna happen.
Right.
He's gonna break somebody, or the
even
rim's
with
gonna
someone in front of him.
Yeah, one of the most scared for life I've ever been was a few years ago when we were watching a Clippers Thunder game, and it was a fast break between Westbrook had the ball, and he's running down the court, and here comes Eric Bledsoe trying to block it, and I thought oh my god, if they collide in midair, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah.
And that was one of the few times that I was
career is ending tonight.
Yeah, I was just thinking oh dude, it's the moment where Randy Johnson threw the baseball out and the bird cross pass and the bird exploded.
Awesome. Yeah.
I literally thought that was gonna happen to one of the players.
One of them was gonna poof.
Yeah, they're just gonna vanish, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no, Eric Bledsoe, you're gonna go poof.
But I mean, Steven Adams plays well with Westbrook. He sets a good pick, catches lobs, plays defense, and with Westbrook, you need those guys who can spread the floor and who can play a little defense. But when you shoot, you have to be willing to shoot and shoot quickly and often.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't have a problem with Westbrook. I'm pretty sure. I can't imagine Melo or Paul George having a problem either. They all want to win, and he's just super competitive.
Yeah.
Melo had open shots. He had good looks. He just couldn't knock them down.
That's
same with Paul George. It's just
if you're okay with, if you're Carmelo or you're Paul George and you're okay with Russell Westbrook handling the ball, you have to be responsible also and know where you fit in, and don't take certain shots or positions or certain plays for granted, knowing that you're already out X amount of shots because you have a Russell Westbrook on your team.
Yeah, I think it's just different because all those guys came from a team and an offense where they were
the primary.
So that means that they got the ball, they got to go through their first action, which is usually some sort of a pick, either a pick and roll or off ball screen.
Mm-hmm.
You have the first action, you get the ball. You have players moving around. You create. If that doesn't work, you get a second action, and if that doesn't work, they always have a play for late in the shot clock type of play. It's usually everybody go to the corner, sets a pick. I think it's called a 4 low or whatever the case may be. And you're going from that to now you're being asked, listen, just Westbrook's going to get the screen. You're going to get a pick later. Just be ready to shoot. And to go from moving around to just catch and shoot is different. It might seem easy to a lot of people. It might, on paper, appear like, oh, it should be no big deal. You're spending less energy. But, you know, anybody that's played pickup basketball can tell, like, you know, sort of existentially, the basketball has a flow. It has an energy. And if you playing on a team where everybody likes to pass and move and dribble and pass and keep the ball moving, it has a different energy than
a dude who just plays like Russell Westbrook.
Than a guy that plays like Russell Westbrook and you're just in the corner and just standing there, and then he passes you the ball and you're expected to just shoot it and make it. It's a different type of energy. It's a different type of expectation, and it's a different type of work that you got to do. So if you're Melo, if you're Paul George, are you willing to accept that? Are you willing to, over the summer, work on your catch and shoot, your spot up? Are you willing to
change your own dynamics?
Exactly.
From what you want and what you were picked up for,
and try to fit into that system. I personally feel like Melo is at a point in his career where it's easier for him to do that
and just stay.
Also
too, 28 million ain't that bad.
Yeah, there's 28 million reasons why he should stay in Oklahoma City. Paul George, on the other hand, I think he's still more dynamic when he has a little bit of the ball in his hands. And so if you have a point guard that's willing to pass the ball, Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, stick the pass in or fix that shot.
Then I think that's where you would want to go. So,
well, look, let me cap that Utah OKC game and say, was that a foul?
Oh, for sure that was a foul.
That was a foul.
That was,
yeah.
I think it was a foul, and not so much of a brain fart on them, but it was like a foul, and everyone's just like, wait, is he not really calling that? Are we still playing this? Oh shit, we got a foul.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, I think.
So
if you watch that replay, you'll see Quinn Snyder, the Jazz coach.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the foul happens, you'll see Quinn Snyder put his hands over his face, and he's like, oh man. And then he looks up and he realizes the foul isn't called, so he's just like, go. If literally everybody but the referees knew that was a foul, that was a foul.
Yeah, that's unreal. I mean, not even just for the sake of like whoever you like on that, just for the sake of basketball. Like, come on, you know?
Yeah, that was terrible.
So the game 6 for Cleveland Pacers was quite entertaining.
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, the Pacers were up by 30 at a certain point.
No, not the one from yesterday.
That was game 6.
Oh, sorry, game 5 I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, game 6. I'm not even gonna go on that. Game 6, Cleveland got slaughtered. Next topic. The game 5.
Game 5.
Yeah, that was vintage. That was very enjoyable for me to watch.
Yeah, that was. I mean, listen, there's so many people that hate on LeBron for whatever reason, and like, you can not like LeBron for any personal choice that he has. If you don't like him for his personality or for the things that he does. I didn't like LeBron when he had the decision. I thought that was corny. I thought it was tacky.
Agreed.
I thought it was such a silly way to do what he intended to do. But by no means should that take you away from understanding that we're literally witnessing history every time he plays.
Mm-hmm.
This is a man who's entered the NBA in high school, who had to overcome the challenge of naming himself the chosen one, of calling himself the king before anybody else can nickname him, of being a kid from Akron, Ohio, playing with guys like Anderson Varejao and Sasha Pavlovich and
Booby Gibson,
a dude named Booby, freaking Delonte West, and that whole thing, and Daniel Marshall, and
he played with Zydrunas
Ilgauskas, Drew Gooden.
That's what I was looking for, Drew Gooden.
Yeah. Wally Zerbiak, Larry Hughes, Eric Snow.
All-stars, guys.
literally,
All stars.
there's people, if you're younger, if you're under the age of 25, I'd be surprised if you knew any of those names.
Yeah, exactly.
He took those teams to the playoffs, and in his 4th year, he went to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has done some amazing stuff, and that for sure has to be in his top 7 games of his career ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that comes to mind for me the most is his, I think it's 2005 or 2006 against the Pistons where he scored 25 straight.
Oh, yeah.
That is my number 1 to me. My number 2 would be when him and Paul Pierce went toe to toe, and I think he scored like 46 or 45, and Paul Pierce scored in the 40s also.
Yeah.
Against a playoff game. I remember that. It has to be that coming back from 3-1.
That block is in there somewhere.
Oh my God! Like, there's so many games that you can talk about. But anyway, that entire sequence of him blocking / goaltending Victor Oladipo's layup to hitting that 3.
And you know what I'll say to the not to the haters, but the disbelievers, and okay, that's fine. I'll give him the goaltending. You know, they also won by a point still. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know, not saying that the dynamics would have changed, but hey, if we just take it at face value, they would have won by 1 point anyway. Okay, that was the first thing that came to my mind was Orlando round 2.
Oh yes, I
2000.
That was that. You know, that was a finals matchup that I feel like we missed.
Yeah.
If they beat Orlando, that would have been Kobe LeBron finals.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, right. Yeah.
And it wasn't like old Kobe. It was Kobe with Powell in 2010, I believe. 10? Yeah, 10. 10.
Yeah. I don't know why I said 2003. Yeah, 2010.
That would have been like prime Kobe entering his prime LeBron. Oh, that's one thing. That's like a big what if we missed out on because of fucking Dwight Howard being Dwight Howard.
I don't even know what team he's on.
Dwight? Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Charlotte Bobcats.
Yeah. The team formerly known as the Bobcats.
Yeah.
Formerly known as the Hornets, now known as the Hornets.
Wait, what? Are they back to the Hornets?
Wait. Are you being serious?
Look, man. Look, man.
I don't know what to say here.
Charlotte. Look, man, if your team was really that good, the first thing, if I typed in Charlotte into Google, it should automatically say at least Bobcats?
I think they've been the Hornets for a while now.
No, they've only been the Hornets for like, you know. I'm just kidding. I knew that, okay?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I knew that. I knew they were the Hornets, guys. I have a Hornets hat, you know. That was before this Hornets. Okay? I knew that. You know, I knew that they had Malik Monk. You know. I knew that they had Dwight Howard. Okay? You know. Yeah, see, Charlotte Hornets. Right there. Hornets.
Yeah. It's the camera shows you looking at the laptop every time.
Yeah, I was just confirming what I knew, just because, you know, I'm just doing it for fun. You know, I don't know what the Hornets, you know, I didn't know that Charlotte was the Hornets. You know what I mean? I think they're still the Bobcats, you know. No, I didn't know, yeah. I knew. I didn't, yeah. No, dude, it was fun. It was good. It was, also, too, and, so, yeah, and then a lot of basketball still left to be played, a lot of upsets, and it's just the first round. Playoff anything is... You know, playoff hockey. Even I will say, playoff baseball is pretty fun. Also, anything in the playoffs is a spectacle to watch, and this is just another example of that. But the NFL draft happened also this week.
Yep,
a lot of moves there. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, and you know when Kangsan and I talked about this 4 or 5 months ago, and prospective players that we wanted on our teams. A lot of things have shifted, and a lot of bad moves were made by, you know, by certain teams. And I just want to go out on a limb and say, you know what, maybe I just don't choose good teams to be a fan of. Maybe I'm just cursed with that.
Well, who's your team?
Okay, maybe just right now, but Chicago Bulls. Shout out to the Chicago Bulls. We'll get them next year, and the Indianapolis Colts.
Sounded like you're gonna cry there. You okay?
Yeah, no, it was. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with how we conducted ourselves during the draft, who we picked up, and you know what? From what I've been seeing on who we've been getting, they're actually filling the positions that we actually need now, and not just getting 3 or 4 defensive ends in a row or a defensive tackle or whatever, but we have a shit ton of wide receivers, a shit ton of running backs. I think we have like 2 offensive tackles, and it's everything that we need to build something around a phenomenal quarterback. So I think we did okay.
Yeah, listen, I'm a big Niner fan, and
shout out to the Niners.
We've been through a lot. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and through that,
a lot of kneeling.
Yes. By the way, Colin Kaepernick, you got to get signed, bro. Same thing with Eric Reed, man. Eric Reed still isn't signed either. But
wow, he's also really old.
No, he's like in his late 20s. I think it's his whole concussion thing. He's had like, I think he's had like 3 or 4 concussions that we know about already.
That CTE will get you.
It's dangerous, man. But with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, I feel like the people that they're drafting, they're putting a high hold on character, which gets a little murky because of the whole Reuben Foster situation. And that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother topic. But the guys he's trying to get are guys that can if you're gonna play right away, you got to be tough. Or B, if you have the potential, you got to have the work ethic. And those are the guys that kind of embody what John Lynch wants. He wants big, tough, meaty guys who can play fast, play hard, and play the right way. And they want to establish a culture there. When you lose and you suck for a few years, at least, there's a philosophical stench that goes across the organization. You get used to losing. You have fun with losing. You make fun of the fact that you suck. There's a lot of things that happen. I think it's natural.
Shout out to the Browns.
At any place of work, right? It takes a lot of work to believe and get people to buy into your ideal of, in order to turn things around, it has to start one day at a time, one drill at a time, and you have to put in the work. And you have to carry yourself and exude yourself as winners before you really can become winners. The idea of just sort of believing in yourself before others can believe you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what John Lynch is trying to do. So I believe in Lynch. I believe in Shanahan. Jimmy G is our heralded quarterback. Quest for 6. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think Niners are going to do. Obviously, they're going to do better, but I think they're going to do pretty well.
Yeah. Last year, I said we're the best 5-11 team you've ever seen. That was actually a joke, but it ended up being kind of true.
You guys won 5 games last year?
I think we won like 6 games, but I'm saying like we're the best 5-11 team.
For what that's worth.
For whatever it's worth. But I will say this. I think this year, with the whole thing with the Rams and everything.
My God, the Rams.
My
God, the Rams. My God, the Eagles. It's just, that's weird. When you have a strong team and you become stronger, it's the point of, well, then again, yeah, they didn't get good draft picks, and their off season or pre draft acquisitions were great, but I mean it was like hit after hit after good hits, good hit after good hit. Every other day it seemed like, you know, we signed this guy, signed this dude, traded this dude for this dude, and it's like, dude, you already had a great team. What are you trying to do? Monsters, bro?
Yeah, so I'm interested. I think realistically, you know, we're looking at a wild card, hopefully, and you know, I'm also interested to see how Sherman's gonna infuse his leadership style to the secondary, because the Niners, man, our corners, we've had a lot of trouble in that realm. You know, our strength in our defense has always been in our front seven, and we've had fuck it, whatever.
You've had.
Listen, English wasn't my first language.
Sorry, English not my first.
Yeah, we've had a pass rush that can help kind of give us that room for error, but we've had a lot of secondaries, a lot of corners that has their ups and has their downs. But Sherman's been a little bit more consistent, and hopefully he's saying he's recovering well from his surgery, and I believe him, and I can't wait to buy that Sherman jersey and wear it in front of all my Seahawks friends.
What I don't believe is, I'm not, from now on, I don't think I'm ever going to believe in what Andrew Luck ever says again.
He still hasn't thrown a ball.
I think he still hasn't even thrown a ball yet. When I made the claim about 8 months ago saying, oh, I think he looks pretty good. I think he's actually throwing already, which I double checked. I don't think I was wrong. I think he did make attempts to throw during the middle of last season. He said it apparently felt good, but the doctor said no. So I think that was true. I think he was doing that. However, I was under the impression that he was being worked on and he was working on it, and I thought maybe part of the process was, he's throwing to work on it. He's throwing a ball, but you know, he's embodied that Embiid mentality, and he's trusting the process. And like I tell you what, if he comes out looking anything like what Embiid looks like, then maybe I should be patient, because then I'd be wrong.
I guess there's only one way to tell.
Yeah, start Jacoby Brisket. God, I hate Jacoby Brisket and Scott Tolzien. Oh, I just felt a little rage there for a second. Sorry, excuse me.
So yeah, what you got going on for the rest of the week?
Tonight I am going to I guess it's easier just to say gala, but it's a mixer.
Okay.
It's a mixer. It's an agent mixer. So for many that don't know, I work in healthcare management, and my former company uses independent contractors to do XYZ, and we're hosting a mixer / gala / fun time for these said contractors.
Okay.
So, basically it's kind of like, hey, thank you for, doing all this work for us, or thank you for helping out with the group. This is our token of appreciation, and they ball out. I mean, I think we're renting the LA hotel this year, and it's what do you call that? It's casino night, but Havana night. What's that called? Monte Carlo night, a la The Office, but it's not going to be in a warehouse, so that should be kind of fun. Open bar, good food, good people to talk to. It's all fun, but yeah, that's what I have for tonight. You?
Well, it's already May. We're well into the playoffs, but a lot of teams are preparing for their off season. So I'm starting
nice
off season primer. Hopefully what I could do once a week, I'll go down from worst record to best.
Okay.
I'll go and just sort of evaluate and write about the team and how they did during the season, who the free agents are, what kind of news, what they should expect, what they need, dream scenarios, worst case scenarios, real scenarios, and just sort of set a primer for anybody that's interested to see, what all the teams have going into this offseason. It's going to be an interesting time. I think with free agency looming and a lot of unrestricted free agents, restricted free agents, there's going to be some
potential moves.
There's going to be some movement in the league, and so we'll see.
Where can they find all that?
Oh, they can find that at kangsankim.com. Recently wrote about the hypothetical scenario of what if LeBron joined the dunk contest? What years would he have won? What years would he have lost? What years could he have won? And
speaking of not having the
so,
Kobe LeBron in the finals scenario,
it's a great what if.
Yeah, that's
a great what if.
LeBron. He was just protecting himself. But kangsankim.com. Check that out. Is the Kangsan?
Yeah, it is. It's just the way you said it. It's funny.
Kangsankim.com. And for tomorrow, we have a beautiful Sunday lined up. Again, mind you, with all the basketball games going on and everything else. But if you guys aren't aware, shame on you. It is Avengers weekend this weekend, starting Thursday night. And tomorrow we're going to watch Avengers. Luckily, obviously we surf the web and go on InstaG all the time and Facebook, but you know what? People have been very good without spoiling stuff, or they've been good in not spoiling stuff.
Yeah, it's one of
thank you to those people. Thank you so much.
It's one of the banes of my existence is when people spoil movies online. For me, it just, I think there's a grace period everybody should be allowed. I think the first weekend, at least, just don't spoil anything. After that, if you talk about it, then it's on me if I haven't seen it in a timely manner. But I am very excited. I can't wait. It's been 19 movies in the making, 18 movies in the making. Like it's going to be bonkers.
Was it you that told me, or I don't know if it was Max, who said some dude on YouTube has like that recap video?
That was me.
That was you. Yeah, because I think I've watched almost every single one, but I haven't watched Ragnarok yet. Maybe I'll catch that tonight. But hit up brunch tomorrow morning, get a little full, get a little toasted, and watch the spectacle. What the called the Avengers, and yeah, I can't wait for that. But anything else?
No, man. Let's wrap it up. Where can they reach you if they want to talk to you?
Everyone, the name is Germund Sua on Instagram. It's _German, so that's _GER, M as in Mary, U, N as in Nancy, D as in David. Same thing on the Twitter, baby. _German. Kangsan?
Yeah, hit me up at NASGNAK. It's just my name backwards on Instagram and Twitter. And check out my work on kangsankim.com.
Perfect. Cool. Awesome. Check us out, guys. Thank you.
It's a wrap.
See you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter.